There are wounds we don't post about. The kind that live in your chest when you open your phone first thing in the morning and feel that familiar ache. The quiet dread before the day even starts. You scroll. Notifications blink like tiny demands, messages, updates. Another reminder that the world is already running while you're still trying to gather yourself. It's strange how much noise it takes to feel this lonely. The phone screen lights up the room. That soft blue glow touching everything except what's real. You tell yourself you'll just check for a minute, but the minute becomes an hour, and the hour becomes another day of pretending you're fine. Sometimes the silence between those pings is louder than any sound. You look at your reflection on the black screen and see eyes that don't shine like they used to. You can't remember the last time you felt rested. Not just slept, but truly rested, like your soul had space to stretch. This is what burnout looks like before anyone names it. It's the quiet exhaustion behind the good job, the tidy apartment, the smiling emoji you send when you're too tired to explain. It's the constant ache of doing everything right and still wondering why it doesn't feel like living. You glance at the time, 6:42 a.m., and the calendar already looks full enough to drown you. The phone hums again. You turn it face down, but its light still leaks through your fingers. A reminder that rest has to be chosen, not granted. There's a strange guilt that comes with slowing down, isn't there? You whisper, I should be grateful. You whisper, other people have it worse. You whisper, just keep going. And yet some part of you, buried deep under the noise, keeps asking, going where? Outside, a car door slams. Someone laughs in the street. The world is awake. And for a second, you envy its energy. Not because you want to run faster, but because you just want to feel alive again. You walk to the window. The phone buzzes once more behind you, but you don't turn back. For the first time in a long time, you let the sunlight, not the screen, tell you what time it is. The air smells faintly of rain, and something inside you, something small but certain, shifts. You think about how long you've lived like this, measuring your worth in unread messages, your value in completed tasks, your peace in 5-minute breaks that never last. It's not weakness to feel this way. It's not laziness to want something slower, something truer. It's simply human to get lost in the noise. Fred's voice would say, you are not behind in life just because you're tired. And Oprah would add, you have the power to begin again, even now. So you take one breath, then another. You don't promise to fix everything. You just promise to listen, really listen, to what the tiredness is trying to tell you. The phone is still there, silent now, face down on the table, but somehow it feels smaller, less like a master, more like a tool waiting to be reclaimed. Maybe meaning doesn't come from doing more. Maybe it comes from choosing, one quiet, honest moment at a time. You reach for the window latch and let in a small wind. The curtain lifts. The room feels lighter, even if the to-do list hasn't changed. And somewhere inside that space, between the buzzing phone and the open air, a whisper rises. You don't have to live like this forever. You can choose differently. You can begin again, right here. There's a strange kind of loneliness that hides inside achievement. You do everything they said would make you happy. The job, the apartment, the neat line of success milestones, and yet something inside you keeps whispering, I don't feel alive here. The phone lies face down on the table, but you can still feel its pulse. Phantom vibrations that aren't real but still make your body flinch. You tell yourself it's nothing, just habit, just busyness. But deep down, you know what it is. A life lived in constant alert mode, waiting for permission to exhale. You wake up tired. You scroll half-conscious through people smiling, achieving, laughing. You see their morning runs, their glowing kitchens, their posts about gratitude. You double tap, and for a moment it feels like participation. But the moment passes, and you're still here, breathing, performing, pretending. There's a guilt that comes with exhaustion. You whisper, I shouldn't complain. You whisper, other people are busier. You whisper, I'm lucky to have this job. And all of that is true. Gratitude doesn't erase the ache. It just teaches you to smile while holding it. Sometimes, late at night, you scroll just to hear something, the noise of others living. It feels easier than sitting with the quiet. Because when it's quiet, the questions get loud. When did work stop feeling like purpose? When did life become a list I'm always behind on? You look around your apartment, the unfinished laundry, the desk with papers scattered like fallen leaves, the plant you keep meaning to water. Every corner holds a small reminder of a life that's happening, but not being lived. You keep saying, I'll rest after this project. I'll take a break when things calm down. I'll slow down next month. But next never comes. The treadmill keeps running, and you keep running with it. Even when your knees, your soul, start to ache. You can't remember the last time you woke up without a sense of rush. You can't remember the last time you looked at your phone without bracing yourself. You can't remember the last time you said, I'm fine, and meant it. People tell you to set boundaries, but the truth is, it's not that simple. You fear that if you stop, you'll lose momentum. If you rest, you'll fall behind. If you say no, someone else will say yes, and you'll disappear. But here's the quiet contradiction. You're already disappearing. Not all at once, but in small, invisible ways. Missing dinners with friends. Skipping mornings that once brought you joy. Watching yourself go through motions you no longer feel connected to. There's a line you read once. Success without presence is a quiet kind of loss. It echoes now, like a truth that's been waiting to be heard. You don't want to live efficiently. You want to live deeply. Fred Rogers would say, you don't have to do anything sensational to be loved. And Oprah would add, you are allowed to rest before you break. You sit back and stare at the phone again. It lights up showing messages you don't have the energy to answer. You okay? Need anything? Let's catch up soon. You type, I'm fine, and delete it. Then type it again, because it feels easier than the truth. But the truth is this, you're not broken. You're just human in a world that rewards exhaustion. You pick up the phone, intending to scroll but stop halfway. The screen reflects your face, tired but still here. You notice the small lines at the edges of your eyes, the evidence of days survived. There's something honest about that reflection, something worth saving. You don't move for a while. You just breathe and listen to the hum of your apartment. Somewhere outside, someone closes a door. Another person starts their car. Life continues, and in that continuation there's comfort. You're part of it, even if you're tired. The phone buzzes again, a reminder for a meeting you're already late for. You sigh, half amused. There's tenderness even in that sigh, because at least you notice it. At least you're beginning to see yourself again. You whisper, maybe tomorrow I'll rest. But something quieter replies, maybe today. The phone is still glowing. You turn it over. Let the light face the ceiling instead of your eyes. The screen goes dark. For the first time in a long time, the silence feels like peace, not absence. And in that stillness, you realize the truth. You've been trying to prove your worth through noise, but meaning has been waiting in the quiet all along. It happens on a Tuesday. Not a dramatic one, just another day that starts too early and stretches too long. The kind of day you've lived so many times that it's almost invisible. You're halfway through answering an email when the sound breaks. The faint ding of a new message. Subject line, we miss you. You freeze. The words are simple, but they land like a knock on the door you've been ignoring. It's from a friend, one of those people who used to know your laugh before work swallowed it. You stare at the screen, your eyes tracing the short note again and again. You disappeared on us. Hope you're okay. You don't reply. You just sit there, staring at that one line until the letters blur. It's not sadness that hits you first, it's recognition. You realize how long you've been gone, not from them, but from yourself. Your phone slips from your hand and hits the desk. A small sound, but it feels loud in the stillness. You whisper, I'll answer later. You won't. You already know. You stand up to stretch. The apartment feels both too quiet and too full. Every object tells on you. The half-eaten lunch, the unopened mail, the plant drooping under its own weight. You've built a life where everything hums except you. You walk to the window, the one you opened the day before. The light spills in, and for a moment, it feels like confession. You look down at the street, people walking, cars stopping, someone holding a child's hand, and realize you've forgotten how to look at life without measuring it. Your phone buzzes again, this time with another reminder. Meeting in 10 minutes. You feel a small panic, but also a rebellion rising inside. You don't want to go. You don't want to perform. You don't want to keep choosing noise over meaning. You whisper, I can't keep doing this. It's the first honest sentence you've said out loud in weeks. You sit down again, hands trembling, not from fear, but from truth. The phone lights up, glowing on the desk. You turn it face down. For the first time, it feels like setting a boundary, quiet, small, but real. There's a line from Frankl that floats back to you, something you once highlighted years ago. When we can no longer change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. You exhale. The words are heavier now, but also kinder. You've been waiting for someone to give you permission to stop. But meaning doesn't come from permission. It comes from choice. You notice your hands. They're shaking slightly. You trace the lines in your palms, the little rivers of effort, and realize they've been carrying more than they should. You whisper, "I'm sorry." Not to anyone else, but to yourself, for ignoring the signs, for mistaking exhaustion for strength. There's a silence that fills the room after that. It's not empty. It's full of everything you've been avoiding. You let it stay. It feels like the pause between heartbeats, the space where something might grow. Outside, a siren fades into distance. The light changes color on the wall, morning to late morning, golden to white. You realize time hasn't stopped. It just stopped owning you for a moment. The phone buzzes again, this time a video call. Your manager's name flashes. You stare at it. The old reflex kicks in. Answer. Be reliable. Stay visible. But another voice inside says softly, "Not right now." You decline the call, and the world doesn't collapse. No one knocks on the door. No catastrophe unfolds. Just silence, deep and liberating. You breathe in, longer this time. It feels unfamiliar but right. You look at the phone, still glowing with missed notifications. Its light looks softer now, less like an order, more like a reminder. You get to decide what matters. You remember that friend's message again. "We miss you." Maybe it's not an accusation. Maybe it's an invitation. Maybe it's the world's way of saying, "You still belong here. Come back." You open the window wider. Air rushes in, cool and alive. The curtains lift. You close your eyes and feel it touch your face. For the first time in months, you feel something that isn't tiredness. You feel present. And that's the crack, the tiny fracture where light enters. Not a grand epiphany, just a quiet, unmistakable knowing. If you keep living this way, you'll disappear. But you don't have to. You stand there longer than you planned, breathing. The phone rests silent on the desk, screen dimming to black. Somewhere between the buzz and the stillness, you found that small space Frankl spoke of, the one between reaction and choice. And in that space, something new is beginning. You stay by the window a long time, letting the air move through the room like forgiveness. Outside, the city continues, buses sighing at red lights, someone laughing too loudly on the phone, a delivery bike speeding by. Life keeps pulsing, indifferent, yet beautiful. You realize it doesn't need your constant performance to keep turning. Your eyes drift back to the desk, to the phone, resting still. You look at it differently now, not as a demand, but as a reflection. How many hours has that little rectangle ruled your emotions? One ping lifts you, the next breaks you. Every day you let it define what matters, who needs you, how worthy you are. But this morning, it's quiet. For once, it's waiting for you. A line rises from somewhere deep, something Viktor Frankl once wrote. Between what happens and how we respond, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose. You whisper it aloud, slowly, as if tasting each word. That space, that's what you've been missing. Not time, not rest, but space. The distance between reaction and intention, between the buzz and the breath. You walk to the table and pick up the phone. It's lighter than you remember. On its screen, a flood of messages glows. Work requests, notifications, an unread text from your mother, another from the friend who said, "We miss you." Normally this would feel like pressure. Today it feels like invitation. You scroll gently, no hurry this time. Each message represents a choice, to rush, to ignore, or to respond with presence. You put the phone down again, face up. For the first time, its light doesn't sting your eyes. Fred Rogers would say, "You don't have to do anything extraordinary to be loved." And you think, maybe that includes being constantly available, constantly proving. Maybe meaning isn't something we earn through endless doing. Maybe it's something we meet when we pause long enough to feel alive inside our own skin. You remember how Frankl found purpose inside a concentration camp. Not by escaping, but by choosing how to meet suffering. You're not trapped in a camp, but you understand the metaphor. Meaning isn't built from comfort, but from choice. Even here, in your overworked apartment, you can choose how to live this hour. You pour a glass of water and take a slow sip. Simple, honest, present. Meaning doesn't wait for peace. It begins when you decide to be awake inside your life. The air smells faintly of rain. The curtain moves. You think about the small acts that give life texture. Calling someone without multitasking. Eating lunch without scrolling. Walking outside without headphones. They're not spectacular, but they restore you to yourself. You open your notes app and type just one line. I choose to be here. Even if it's imperfect, your fingers hesitate. You want to write more, but that's enough. You lock the screen and place the phone beside you. You don't feel the need to throw it away or go offline forever. You just feel calmer knowing it no longer owns you. In Frankl's terms, you shifted from reacting to responding, from endurance to meaning, from noise to awareness. It's not a grand transformation, just a quiet one, built from a breath and a thought. I still have a choice. The heaviness in your chest softens. You realize burnout isn't only about doing too much. It's about forgetting why you do anything at all. When meaning fades, exhaustion takes its place. But when you remember purpose, even a small one, energy returns like sunlight through blinds. You look around the room, same mess, same list, same life. But it feels different because you feel different. There's clarity in the ordinary. A steadiness that was hiding underneath all the noise. You pick up your phone again, open your friend's message, and type just 2 words. I'm here. Not an apology, not a long explanation, just truth. The phone rests in your palm. The glow on your skin feels gentle this time, almost kind. You smile, not the performative kind for selfies, but the quiet one that means, I'm coming back to myself. The city hums outside. A bus passes. Somewhere, someone else is probably feeling the same ache, scrolling through their own morning fog. You wish you could tell them this. It doesn't take a complete escape to feel alive again. Just a pause long enough to remember you still have power. Freedom starts in the space between a buzz and a breath. You take that breath now, deep, grounded, grateful. The phone vibrates once more, but you don't rush to answer. You let it hum and fade away. Because for the first time in months, you're not chasing your life, you're living it. Later that day, you sit on the edge of your bed, phone in hand, watching the late sunlight slip across the wall. It lands on a framed photo, friends laughing at some long-ago dinner. You remember that night. No one checked their screens. Everyone's faces glowed from laughter, not pixels. You wonder when that kind of presence became rare. When connection turned into a series of quick replies instead of full moments. You lift your phone again, but this time you hold it differently. Not as a demand, but as a reminder. It's just a tool. What it reflects now depends on how you use it. Viktor Frankl's words echo quietly. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So you decide to change, not your entire life, not overnight, but the small ways you move through the day. Because meaning, you realize, isn't built in a single revelation. It's built in moments, ordinary and humble, repeated until they become habit. You open your notes app and type a simple list, not goals, not resolutions, just small anchors to keep you awake inside your own life. 1 minute before screens. When you wake, don't grab the phone right away. Let your body arrive before your mind starts sprinting. Sit up. Breathe. Look at something real, the way the light pools on the floor, the shadow of a plant, your own reflection blinking awake. It's not resistance. It's reclaiming the first breath of the day. 2, 3 breath checkpoints. Every time your phone buzzes, instead of reacting, pause and breathe 3 times before you respond. Inhale clarity, exhale urgency. Between those breaths, you might notice something. Not every ping needs a reply. Not every message deserves your peace. 3, 1 message of gratitude. Once a day, send a message that isn't about tasks or logistics. Just a quiet thank you to a friend, a parent, a coworker, even to yourself. Frankl taught that meaning often hides in relationships, in the love we give freely. Gratitude doesn't fix exhaustion, but it softens it. 4, the evening ritual. Before bed, put the phone down face up, not face down. Let its light rest beside you, not against you. Whisper something kind. I showed up today. Wash your face slowly. Stretch your shoulders. Let the quiet become a friend, not a void. Each of these acts feels small, almost too small to matter. But then you remember, this is how healing begins, not in fireworks, but in footsteps. You think about what Fred Rogers might say. Little by little, we build the worlds we live in. And what Oprah might add, the smallest intention can change the direction of your life. Meaning grows in the moments you choose to be present, even when no one is watching. The next morning, you test it. You wake before the alarm. For a second, habit wins, you reach for the phone. But then you remember. 1 minute before screens. You let your hand fall back to the blanket. The ceiling glows with early light. You breathe. The world feels wider, even though nothing outside has changed. Later, while working, you feel the familiar buzz of a notification. Instead of grabbing the phone, you take your 3 breaths. The urgency dissolves a little. You smile. The work still matters, but it doesn't own you. That space Frankl spoke of, the one between stimulus and response, feels real now, like a small patch of sunlight inside your chest. By evening, you send a short message to your friend. Thank you for waiting for me. No emojis, no performance, just truth. The reply comes a few minutes later, always. You laugh softly. Maybe meaning really is built like this, one honest exchange at a time. When you place your phone on the nightstand, you notice its reflection on the wall, just a soft rectangle of light. You turn off the lamp and watch that glow fade. For the first time in months, the darkness doesn't feel empty. It feels full of breath, of presence, of life continuing at its natural rhythm. Fred's voice would say, "You made it through today, and that's enough." And Oprah's would follow, "Tomorrow you can begin again, one conscious moment at a time." Peace isn't the absence of noise. It's the choice to return to yourself within it. You lie down, the hum of the world steady and kind. The phone rests silent beside you, waiting, not to interrupt, but to serve. You smile into the dark, knowing this isn't the end of the story, just a new way of living it. Morning comes softly this time, no alarm shouting, no blue glare pulling you from sleep, just light, slow and forgiving, stretching across the room. The phone rests by your bed, silent. For once, you're the one who wakes first. You lie there for a while, feeling the stillness. Your chest rises, falls. The air tastes new. The phone glows faintly as the sun catches its surface, but you don't reach for it. You just watch the light move, a soft pulse reminding you that not every brightness needs to be touched. This small pause, this simple noticing, is what healing feels like. Not grand, not cinematic, just a quiet return to yourself. You think of how far you've come in just a few days, from rushing toward every notification to learning how to breathe between them. The same device that once fed your exhaustion now reflects your peace. It hasn't changed. You have. You pick it up, thumb hovering over the screen. The world is waiting inside. Emails, headlines, messages. But there's no panic now, just choice. You scroll for a moment, slowly, deliberately. A text from your mom. "Good morning, sweetheart. Don't forget to eat." You smile. The tenderness in those words reminds you of something Frankl wrote. What is to give light must endure burning. You realize that burnout wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a signal, a flare for meaning. It was your soul saying, "This isn't working. Let's build something real." You reply to your mom with a small heart emoji and a picture of the morning light spilling across your pillow. No words needed, just presence. Fred Rogers once said, "Anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that's mentionable can be more manageable." You think of that now, how silence broke the moment you let yourself name what was wrong, how manageable it became once you stopped pretending everything was fine. You remember the night you faced the phone in the dark, when silence felt like a void. Tonight, it feels like belonging. That's the quiet miracle of awareness. The same moment, seen differently, can hold a different truth. You walk to the window. The city hums, soft engines, distant voices, the rhythm of people beginning again. For once, you don't feel behind. You're part of it, breathing in time with the world. You glance at the phone again. A few unread notifications blink at the top of the screen. They can wait. Life, real life, is already here, in the warmth on your skin, in the still air before the day fills, in the heartbeat you can feel without looking for it. You don't have to leave the world to find peace. You just have to come back to yourself within it. You take your 3 breaths, the same practice you started days ago. On the third exhale, The day opens gently, like a curtain parting. You whisper to yourself, I'm here. There's power in those two words. Small, steady power. Not the kind that shouts or strives, but the kind that stays. The kind that lets you build a life from quiet intention. You check your reflection in the window. Same face, but the eyes are softer, less guarded. You're not chasing light anymore. You're letting it reach you. The phone buzzes once, briefly, a work message. You let it rest. The world won't fall apart. You've learned the difference between urgency and importance, and your peace is not negotiable anymore. You whisper, will today be a beginning or a copy? The question isn't pressure, it's invitation. Each morning can mirror the old pattern or open to something gentler. You get to decide. You put the phone in your pocket, not as a leash, but as a tool, one you'll carry with mindfulness. Maybe later, you'll listen to a song that feels like sunlight. Maybe you'll call someone and really listen to their voice. Maybe you'll take a picture of something ordinary and remember that it's beautiful. As you step outside, the air greets you like an old friend. The day hums quietly, the way life does when you're finally in rhythm with it. The phone vibrates again, a message from that friend who wrote, "We miss you." You open it. Glad to see you back online. Coffee soon? You laugh. Not the tired kind this time, but the real one. You text back, "Yes. This time, I'll be present." The screen dims. The reflection of your face lingers for a moment, then fades into the light. You are no longer performing life. You are participating in it. The phone goes silent again, and in that silence, everything feels alive. The air, the street, your own heartbeat. The world didn't change. The tasks remain. But you've remembered your power, that sacred space between stimulus and response. And inside that space, life begins again.